Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Gaia. I am a healer, and I love drawing cards, and so I put the two together here on this channel to co-create a healing process for you with spirit. So this is a process that is ongoing from week to week, and this is week 1 where we are looking at expansion. And so in this reading, we're going to be bringing through messages about expansion when it comes to love and relationships. And then after the reading, I'm going to continue on with an extension that is going to be a healing. And if you would like to participate in that healing, if you would like to benefit from it, then I would direct you towards my Patreon, where there is a link at the end of this video and in the description box. So let's get right to it. Let's see how Spirit wants to talk about relationships. I'm so excited. Okay, so before we start, I'm going to do a little story time. I need to tell you a story, apparently. But this is something that has been happening in my life recently and really kind of just blew up today, where there's a person in my life that I basically moved away from years ago, that I've been limiting contact with. I'm not talking to them, I'm not seeing them, I'm not seeking them out, I'm just limiting contact. And we have a lot of people in common, and so over the years these people have asked me why, but they really miss you, just all the stuff to reconnect. And often I would go like, yeah, I really love this person and I really care about them, but it just felt so over. And also it just felt, I just never wanted to. I just felt that I didn't want to, but I didn't know why. So over the years, I would question it myself. But really, should I? Shouldn't I? And then today, and it's been escalating over, right? But I get so many messages for so many people where it becomes this incredibly hurtful situation, so dramatic, needlessly dramatic. Immaturity going on, and I would guess I would say some narcissistic type behaviors from that person, but also the people around them, things like that. It just like it hit the fan today. And so my feeling in all of that, within all that, is that first of all, I'm not in the center of all that because I've had really good boundaries with this person for a while. I didn't participate, I didn't show up for that, so I'm not in it. And it's such a blessing. So all day today, I've just been like, oh, thank God. Thank God. I didn't know why, but thank God I kept my distance. Thank God I chose differently. Thank God I chose what was true for me and without knowing why. And so Spirit wanted to tell you that story before we start, and we'll see where that is going to lead us, because we've got lost love, surrender, healing, release. We're talking about relationships. Absolutely. Love and relationships. We have Zen Garden. Inner sanctuary. Love it. Love it. Okay. And we've got harmony, power, self-confidence, productivity. Beautiful. And so in all of these cards, I'm seeing, and we actually, oh yeah, we have 38, we have 35 and 3. 3 plus 5 is 38. So these two dynamics are going to add up to this. This is where you're headed. This is the outcome. Zen Garden. This is for you to gain a lot more peace and to expand into a greater sense of peace in relationships and in love in general. And with the inner sanctuary and Zen Garden, this is really talking about a peace in you, in who you are and how you go about things, in your inner truth. 3 plus 8 is also, master number 11. So this is talking about some growth you've realized through connection with your higher self. You're embodying higher aspects of yourself, and that needs to make some space for that. And there's this notion of, because you've grown and evolved spiritually, you can now realize this shift, this change in relationships, which is going to be a lot of surrendering, of healing, of releasing, of old dynamics, old hurts, old things. But through, can you see all the hearts on on her body? This is through love, through self-love, self-validation, self-appreciation. So you heard my scenario. You're going to have your own scenario. There are situations, circumstances in your life that are going to be mirroring to you a dynamic, a way in which you chose yourself, you chose your truth, you chose your path, you chose your growth, you chose your healing, you chose your purpose, and that affected relationships, love and relationships in your life. And events are going to be conspiring to mirror that back to you in a way where you're going to feel a lot of healing in your sense of self, in your relationship to yourself. It's going to be incredibly validating for you. And then it's also going to heal. This is also an outcome, yielding a lot of power, self-confidence, productivity. It's like a massive validation of certain choices that you've made, or rather of a way of making choices, a way of being in the world, a way of relating, a way of going about relationships, a way of loving, a way of giving love, a way of receiving love. A huge validation of that is going to empower you moving forward. And Spirit says you need this. You need this for what's next, for what comes next. And you're going to be realizing it. You're going to be expanding into that so that you can then thrive in what comes next. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good for you. Yay. And so, good for us, actually, because it's collective. It is collective. So, what I wanted to do when I chose this deck, I knew, we're going to look in, it's going to get personal. That's how I thought of it. Where we're going to be looking at your energy, the other person's energy, the relationship, and we're going to put it all together. It's getting a lot more personal, yeah. So, let's look at what we have. We've got, for starters, Major Arcana number 17, the Star, Hope. And we've got the Queen of Swords, Upside Down, Resilience. Yeah. This is you. This is your energy. Okay, we have Six of Pentacles. I see where this is going. And Six of Pentacles says generosity. And that's the relationship. Now, wait. We're going to see, right? We have the Three of Pentacles with recognition upside down. And we have Nine of Pentacles with gratitude. And I do feel like I turned that upside down, but we're gonna move on like this. There we go. Or I turned it right side up rather. Now, this is talking about a relationship where you are now in a space and a place where you can look at that relationship and you can see how much it has given you. You're in a space and a place now where you can have a dynamic where you're always going to be a winner in relationships. It's always going to give to you. Even if you are given a difficult lesson, you're going to feel the generosity of it. You're going to feel not so much the other person, but you're going to feel the relationship or relating and what relationship is really about. That is not at all ever about he said this, she said that. It's much more about they said this. It's about the connectivity of being in relation to something or someone else, and how through that you can always learn, you can always grow, you can always evolve, you can always receive. And here in this instance, with resilience, this is the relationships that we are talking about. These are relationships where you have held on, and you may have held on longer than you needed to, but they're the kind of relationships where you've learned a lot of resilience because you had to. And it's not always a good thing, right? Relationships aren't meant to be hard. They're not meant to be difficult. But resilience upside down is talking about how through these relationships and through the bumps and the bruises, the interactions, you've actually developed a tremendous amount of resilience within yourself. Now, when you look at physics, this is one of my favorite words, actually, resilience and concepts, the spiritual concepts, is resilience is the notion that you can stretch something, you can stretch it, you can apply different forces, but it will retain its own shape. So something has a lot of resilience when it can sustain a lot of forces, a lot of pressure, and maintain its own shape. And this is you. You've learned to stay true to yourself no matter what. And the Star is this message that's saying that that's why you can now aspire to really the best. You can be really hopeful about relationships from now on. You have cause to be hopeful. You have reason to be hopeful. And even with the star showing up, there's a destiny awaiting you when it comes to love and relationships that is very bright and that is very elevated and that is calling to you. And it's a relationship that you can now aspire to because very specifically you've learned to be yourself, to stay yourself, and to remain yourself. We're going to deepen what that means, but let's look kind of at the people. Yeah. Oh, wow. The people you were dealing with at a very simple level. We have got generosity, right? That's the relationships. That's the energy of relationship, the pure energy of relationship that you're now ready to step into, where every interaction, all relationships are beneficial to you, right? Not everybody in the world has to be able to extract that, but you can. And then here, this is showing the people that you have been dealing with, which are recognition. They're unable to recognize you and to be grateful for you. It's like a core pattern. And it's something very typical of selfish people, actually. And I've really been thinking about this recently, because the thing about selfish people is that they're weak. I was reading Ascendance of a Bookworm, for those of you who are into light novels and things like that. I cannot recommend it too much, but in the book there were all these characters and I kept going, why are they like this? I can't believe they're doing this. And then I realized, oh, they're weak. And consistently all of them were weak. And because they were weak, they became selfish and they wanted to protect themselves and they didn't think of other people and so on and so forth. And it just dawned on me that, oh, it's like they just don't have it. And in the same way, this is talking about you dealing with a lot of people who lacked recognition of you as being something to be grateful for. And I was very surprised when the Nine of Pentacles showed up with these with this energy, and especially right side up, which again I may have done. I may have turned it right side up, I don't know. But there's the notion of that, right? You make it into a positive yourself. But that these people didn't have the ability to recognize that you're something to be grateful for. And I remember ending a relationship at some point where I was like, listen, I'm a wonderful person to have in your life, and I don't feel like you're treating me that way. It was a friendship, and I had a very clear sense of my worth, and I made that known to the other person. And I remember I was talking to someone about it and they were shocked because they'd never thought about it in this way. So you may be someone who's never thought about yourself in this way, but sadly you've also dealt with a lot of people who didn't think of you in that way either. And that's not right. That is not right at all. Because also the thing about gratitude is there's two sides to it. When we're grateful for something, we value it. We have to find joy in it. And so without that gratitude, they were not enjoying you. They were not valuing you. It's that basic thing, when someone likes you, they just like you. It's simple. It's not even love or anything. They just like you. They enjoy you. They want to spend time with you. They want to give to you. And again, they have gratitude, proper appreciation for who you are and what you bring in their lives. And so there's a pattern of that. When you put it together, it's devaluing, not being valued, not being appreciated accordingly. We have the Queen of the Ocean, which is the Empress upside down, major arcana number 3. We have got Destruction, the Tower upside down. Ooh, yes. And we've got the Four of Cups upside down. I don't know why I bother. There you go. That's why. Okay. Upside down. Okay. There you go. That's you. And then I'll draw them straight away. There's this person, because there's a different dynamic here, which Spirit also wants you to be aware of. Because very often we think in a certain way and we feel in a certain way, and then we assume that the other people think and feel in the same way. But these people, and I definitely feel like it's more than one, it's a pattern that you've had in your life of people who didn't properly recognize you, value you, appreciate you. These people, they are operating according to a different set of values in a completely different way to how you're operating, and it's important for you to know that and to recognize that. Now again, you're like the hidden empress. You're an incredibly abundant person, but you are someone who has been shy of coming fully into this abundance. You've been growing and evolving into a fully like operational abundant version of yourself. So to explain that, it's like when you're in this abundance energy, you just overflow and you have all of this knowledge about your own worth, your own value, right? Because abundance starts from within. So you're someone with tremendous amount of abundance, but not necessarily realizing it outwardly. So you would have, for example, an abundance of kindness, of love, of trust, of patience, but then you wouldn't manifest it in relationships that are trusting, that are patient, that are full of the value that you yourself have on the inside. And here with the tower upside down, it's talking about how in that way the relationships that you had in your life, you've not had the truly life-changing relationships. Now this is an ominous tower where the ship is sinking, right? But the message that's coming from it, it's also through an act of God here, is that I am getting a message of protection, that you've been protected from the worst. You could look back at certain relationships and go, wow, I dodged a bullet. Or, how do I put this? Let's say someone was coming on a plane to meet you, and then you were going to travel with this person, and then they missed the plane, and you go on their Facebook and you see that they're going on some crazy rant, and you go like, ooh, dodged a bullet, right? It's like that. There's a protection that has been around you to keep you from self-destructing through relationships by not aiming for the right people or the right connections, the right ways. And so that also means that you've not had those relationships that are going to be so transformational for you in your life, but they are coming, they are on their way. With boredom upside down, this is you feeling some kind of way about yourself because of that. There's nothing wrong with you. That's essentially what boredom upside down is talking about. There's nothing wrong with you, and there is an energy coming in through these expansion for you to expand in a space, in a place where you're not basically tired with yourself. Or it's like it's upside down, right? It talks about being tired of these kinds of relationships, tired of dealing with these kinds of people, rather than being tired that, oh, I can't say this, I can't say that, I'm not good at this in relationship, I'm not good at that, I'm never attracting the right person, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not interesting enough, I'm not enough, right? It's those kinds of feelings that Spirit really wants to make you aware of, because however abundant you are, you did show up as an empress, absolutely, but there is a chink in your armor here, where your sense of self has been influenced by these kinds of dynamics, and you've internalized it to some degree. So be aware of that. And then with this person, yeah. I'm sorry, Spirit is so funny. This is this person, Page of Wands. Not a bad energy. Not a bad energy at all. But you're the Empress. They didn't show up as a knight. They didn't show up as a king. They showed up as the Page of Wands. Okay, you're a Queen of Ocean dealing with a Page of Wands, which is, again, absolutely okay, but there's a level at which that's appropriate, right? If you marry a Page of Wands when you're a Queen of Ocean, you're in trouble. If they're the neighbor around that you see once every, in the blue moon, you have a cup of coffee with, that's fine. That can be appropriate, right? So there's a message here about finding the right level. And with the creativity, I do feel like these are people who are, they could be passionate, they could be very interesting, kind of charismatic, but as you grow and evolve, it's something that just seems smaller and smaller over time. Inconsequential, right? It's someone who's cool in all the right ways. It would be like someone, oh yeah, they're super cool because they can get you into all of the good parties. And then you grow up and you're like, no, someone is super cool when they have integrity, when they have strength of character. It's like that, right? It's on a different level. And then creativity is also, I'm getting a message for some of you, they're quite creative with themselves. It's also someone who, like, these are people who change themselves according to the situations, their circumstances. They can even be creative with the truth. They can be creative with also what they owe you and how they treat you also, in a very negative way. Negativity being a filter that we apply to look at life, right? So negativity takes away love, takes away happiness, takes away joy, or rather takes away love, and then all the expressions of love, joy, happiness, kindness, security, all good things. And that's kind of like this. This is someone who's yeah, let's keep going. Five of Cups. Yeah, they're a bummer. And they're a downer, and they're leeching off your light. Yeah. And then we have Vision upside down, Two of Wands. Yeah. Listen, Five of Cups, sadness. Five of Cups is talking about, for me, this is someone who's small. You have Four of Cups energy, right? So you've turned on yourself, fine. But this is someone, and this is how the two of you match also. You are not doing yourself justice. Then you meet up with someone who is looking at the world and not doing the world justice. They find sadness in things. They look at people, places, things in their life, right? Set up energy, and they see it as small. They see it as sad. They see it as limiting. This is someone who is a bummer. Again, creativity, that could be the facade. They're interesting and they have this to say, this to say, this to say. But when you look at how they actually engage with the world, Five of Cups, yeah, lack mentality. So we have abundance and we have lack. And this isn't more the mentality because it's cups, it's awareness. This is someone who knows lack. They live lack, they embody lack, they're lacking in some kind of way, which has nothing to do with you. But there's just really talking about this fundamental um, outlook on life, no matter how they dress it up. They could be at the party, at all the latest parties, wearing all the clothes. They could be so creative, so funny. They have all the jokes, but the way in which they look at life is sad, and that's not the vision, Two of Wands upside down, vision, but it also comes up as just accountability. This is not someone who has accountability for it. If they look at you and find you lacking in some way, they're gonna blame you. It's about you. Sorry. Yeah, outside the. Ooh, you don't see it because I was doing outside the beyond the camera. You don't really see it in this way. This person is lacking in accountability and the ability to, with the Two of Wands, like, I can handle this, I got this. They can't handle it, they don't have this. And so because they don't have it, it becomes about you. This would be the pattern of someone who is emotionally abusive, mentally abusive. Definitely people who are who pass the buck, who put things on you, blame you. It's always your fault, it's always your beyond fault. It's like you're the explanation. Why isn't it working? Oh, it must be you, right? It's beyond just blaming. It's literally like how they look at the world, how they view the world. It's not them, it can't be them. In an extreme case, this could also be narcissism and narcissistic tendencies. It can't be them. Yeah, Five of Cups is a small sense of self, but again, it's right side up. It really is how they deal with the world. Lack. They are going to see lack. They could win $1 million. They're going to see lack. You could do everything for them. Everything for them. And they would still find you lacking. It still won't be enough. No matter what. Because it's not about you. It is about them. And that's why they just haven't been able to recognize the value of you and haven't been able to muster up gratitude for you, because they don't have it in themselves. They just don't have it to give. And so they don't. Right? Again, it has nothing to do with you. It's like their functioning. It's their pattern. It's their stuff. So, how are we going to go with this? I drew some cards. Funny enough, the first one is cooperation. In your quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person has you realize that every person and experience has value. Okay, that's literally what we were talking about. Beautiful. We've got commitment. You dedicate yourself to your beliefs wholeheartedly, knowing that love is the essence of your very being. Yes, it is. It really is not your stuff. These are not your issues. And then finally we have acceptance. And acceptance says you are ready to release control of situations or people and lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. Yeah. And I feel like this is spirit talking about this expansion energy, expansion dynamic, and what it would have for you in these energies as we move forward. So cooperation at a basic level, you can find friends. you know, it's like how do I put this? I was thinking about it the other day. I found a great analogy. It's going to come back to me. But it's like, it's the notion of how you can do bad all by yourself. And so if you're going to be with people, if you're going to spend any amount of time with people, you might as well spend time with people who make your life better, who cooperate with the work and the direction that you yourself are moving in, as opposed to people who hold you back, people who trip you up, people who are sabotaging you essentially. And that's cooperation. And I feel like you're going to become much more in these times, in these energies, and through this healing, you're just going to become a lot more aware of connections, of dynamics that are helping you be who you want to be, go where you want to go, live what you want to live, create what you want to create, what's true for you. That's coming in. And with that, you're being asked to commit. Spirit is saying commit. In other words, Spirit is going to send a lot of people, places, things, situations, circumstances that are going to be much more in alignment with who you really are and where you want to be and go in the world. That is going to be over a kind of cycle, over the next cycle of your life. A lot of these people, your job is to commit to yourself and to engage with those people, those situations, those circumstances, while letting go and releasing with acceptance the people, places, and things that are not in alignment in that way, that just basically they can't keep up with you. That would be the energy. They haven't done the work, they don't want to do the work, they're not capable of doing the work, they're not interested in it. There's so many variations, and I feel like actually all of them are kind of true, but they're just not sharing in your vision for the self, or vision for you even, or vision for the relationship, or vision for life. They're on a different playing field, you're on a different playing field, and it is about you accepting that and allowing the parting of the ways, allowing them to be where they are and for you to be where you are, and to really commit to this kind of way of life, because that's what's going to feed the changeover. There's a changeover period where some people are leaving, some new things are coming in, and there's an intertwining of the two, and you're being guided very much to jump into this process, flow with it, move with it, because it's really, really healing. And ultimately it's going to lead you into a space and a place where relationships are good. You know, you're in your Zen garden, you're in your inner sanctuary, in and out of relationships continually. But it does take people, places, and things that can keep up with you, keep up with that frequency, keep up with that way of living your life. So my love, that was your reading. That was the reading for here and now. And now I'm going to continue on over at Patreon. We're going to do the healing, and we are going to go deeper into it. I do feel like maybe we're going to go into this. We'll see how it unfolds. It's always a creative journey in the best way possible. And so if you want to join me there, you can find me on Patreon. Sending you lots of love, wishing you all the best. Thank you for being here and now. Thank you for spending this time with me. And may you be blessed always and in always. And so it is. Bye.